I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. That's a song called Please Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood by Nina Simone from 1964, her album Broadway Blues Ballads. A lot of people might know that song by the Animals because the Animals did a cover of that song, I believe, just a year later. And the Animals version became very popular. But Nina Simone's the OG. She's the originator of that song. She's the creator of that song. Just listening to my AirPods the other night, and just hit me. I was like, damn, this is a great song. I love this song. It's been on my playlist. I love it. Um, it matches a lot of things in my life. It's like, there's a lot of misunderstandings and you just want to know, let people know that your intentions are good. But I didn't even realize that Mr. Joe Thurman on episode 28, I guess 2 episodes ago, he ended the episode. If anyone's paying attention, at the end of every episode, Joe Thurman has a very cool type of quote or lyric or, some funny joke or something. And I told Joe about the lyrics I was choosing. He's like, man, I think I've heard that before. He was laughing a couple episodes ago, but yeah, he ended the show with those lyrics. And I guess it somehow, the combination of him saying it and that song coming on my playlist, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Joe, how you doing today?
For a Monday, pretty good, Shawnee. Thank you.
Good, man. So this song too, man, and you thought,
Yeah,
you're down with the Animals version. Did you know about the Nina Simone version?
Funny thing is, when you told me the other day you were going to use these lyrics to start the show, I said in a funny way to you, I said, "Wink, wink." Seems like I've heard that recently before, and you said, "Where?" I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, "That's great. Thanks a lot, bud." No, I thought though, you know what? I bet you subliminally somehow it snuck into Sean's brain a little bit, and you were laying around, but yeah, I was never familiar with, and I have to admit. I learned you learn something every day. We teach each other things every single day. And I learned the other day, you corrected me. I put on my orthopedic shoes. I stand corrected. I was all in on the Animals when I quoted that. And I just quote things for the sheer hell of it, just to end the show on a funny or serious, whatever it is, just a little something, something. And that was in my head that day. I had a disagreement with somebody. And it was just a situation where you get in these disagreements and you think, my God, if you just really understood me, but it's not. I'm not a bad. It's sort of like that. There ain't no good guy, no bad guy thing. It's sort of the same kind of thing. Like you just don't understand. It was just so. A lot of times you get into little quarrels with somebody or arguments, and sometimes they can be really good ones, really rocking and rolling. And you think to yourself, I'm just a soul, whose intentions are good. Lord, why am I being misunderstood here? But that's the art of reconciling an argument, is to get the other person to understand, to calmly get the other person to understand. Yo, man, I'm not a bad dude. I didn't mean this. I didn't mean that. Oh, I thought you meant this. No, I didn't. This kind of dialogue. But I digress right now. I'm off on a tangent here. But when you said that to me, I thought you were just like wink, wink. And I learned that Nina Simone, and so I listened to it, Sean. And I'll tell you what, as much as I like the Animals, and incidentally, just the other day when we did the Charlie Daniels song, there's a reference to an Animals song in that Devil Went Down to Georgia. There's a reference to an Animals song. The Devil's in the House of the Rising Sun. The House of the Rising Sun is an Animals song. So that's kind of like what threw me off a little bit weird too. You and I talk often about weird things that happen. So there's a little overlap here I just noticed it. But anyway, I was always familiar with the Animals song, always dug it. I listened to Nina, the original, the year that I was born, another weird thing. All right. And I really like because she sings it a little slower, a little deeper, and I just dig it. But you learn something new every day, and it's all good, brother. It's all good.
Yeah, and it's the thing about it too, it's Black History Month. So
Yes.
we already, we chose what we choose.
Frederick Douglass. We
No,
talked
but
about.
we talked about, I'm talking about musicians. We want to spotlight some Black musicians because there's a ton of them. And it's
I did the hip hop thing. Yeah, I did the hip hop.
and the
Yeah.
Message by Grandmaster Flash.
Damn straight, brother.
But like just in terms of musical artists, it's just like I was like, Joe did these lyrics at the end of the show, but maybe I'll choose different lyrics. But I'm like, why not? This song, we choose lyrics that hit us and that really, we vibe with. And these lyrics really, I'm vibing with the past couple of days. And it's just cool that she happens to be an African American. And the Animals, I believe, was a white band.
Yeah.
They covered her song and made it a big hit a year later. But these days, if Nina Simone was like a modern day like pop, gospel type blues type singer, I'm pretty sure her version would go viral and be very popular. And then the Animals will be a second. So the Animals are a band in this day. The Animals version will probably be like, in the
Yeah.
background type of thing. But Nina Simone will probably take center stage if that song was made this day and age. She probably get the spotlight. It's like a Beyonce type, type. That's the vibe I get. You know what I mean?
I got it, and I'm old school, so I got like a Roberta Flack type of thing from her, but it's all good,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is like, unfortunately, like that song, it was made in 1964 and it was quickly adopted by a bigger band.
Right.
But that's a great song. You know what I mean? She should be known for this song. Everyone should know when they hear it, please don't let me be misunderstood. And it should be like, oh, that's Nina Simone's song. So it's kind of cool that we get to bring some attention to that song too. I kind of like that too.
Yes, absolutely. Good choice.
Yeah, just it's like anybody, it's like people misunderstand you all the time. And your soul's intentions are good. And sometimes words could be weapons, and words can really like manipulate people and kind of trigger people, and they could react very angrily. And you're always like, people are always like, wait, but my intentions are, I'm not trying to hurt you though. These words might have hurt you, but that was not my intention. And there's always these back and forths. So this song really gets to the heart of that, I think.
Right. And look, there are times, I'm not going to lie, there are times when when someone's pissed off at me, and I'll know exactly why. Because I wanted to provoke them or something, because I had reason or whatever sometimes. But 90% of the time when someone's angry with me, I'm thinking like, what the hell happened? What did I do? What the hell is it? What's going on? I had no intention at all. My intentions are good. I had no intention to set you off at all. But I can't control what other people do or other people think and this and that. So 9 times out of 10, these words are, applicable. It's like, you're angry with me. Why? What did I do? That kind of a thing. And you work it out with people, because people don't know. And we all have our insecurities. We all have our sensitivities, and we hear something in a way that wasn't intended. You could hear the same sentence from someone, and you'll hear the words, but the meaning behind it, you'll hear a complete different, like, oh, you meant this. And that person's thinking, no, I didn't mean that at all. Hey, we're human beings. We're complex creatures, and we wind up misunderstanding each other all the time. The trick is to reconcile. And these lyrics, this song, this artist, that's what they were bringing down home.
Yeah. You mentioned Roberta Flack. She sings Killing Me Softly, right?
Oh, yes.
That song, that's another song that someone else redid. Like Lauryn Hill was a really good artist back in the day. She was really popular for a couple of years. She's still around, I'm sure.
Yes.
But she sang "Killing Me Softly" was part of one of her songs. And I didn't even realize that Roberta Flack was the OG of that one. So it's another song that was made famous but Roberta Flack, I believe she got a lot of the attention. She got the Grammy Award for Record of the Year for "Killing Me Softly." But that's another great, those are also great lyrics,
Without a doubt. And the original also, again, by far is, Lauryn Hill's great and all, but the Roberta Flack version was just unbelievable. So yeah, a lot of times most times the original, there are exceptions, but most times the original is the best.
Yeah. Like, do you know, Whitney Houston, "I Will Always Love You"? Did you know Dolly Parton she sang that song originally?
I forgot, but now that you remind me, I do remember seeing that at some point. You're right. But Whitney took it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
There's a song by the Stones called "As Tears Go By." It is the evening of the day. Anyway, I'm not going to sing. But anyway, it's that song by the Stones, "As Tears Go By." A group did it before them called the Lovin' Spoonful, I think their name was. And they did it. And I listened to the original. I'm like, wow, I like my boys better. I like the Stones version better. But most times the original is better. There are exceptions, "Blinded by the Light." Manfred Mann just killed that song. That was a Bruce song. But Manfred Mann just took it to a new level. Most times, though, it is the former here, not the latter. Most times it is the original that's better, Sean.
Yeah, I think that song, As Tears Go By, as I'm reading about it,
Oh,
it was written by Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and the Stones. But they gave the song to Marianne Faithfull, it seems like.
and I said Lovin' Spoonful. I stand corrected again. Marianne Faithful is
No,
the.
it's good because this is just a cool. We're just kind
Well,
of
we're riffing, guy. We're
freestyle talking
talking.
some music,
Yeah,
and yeah, so,
yeah.
and I just happened to look it up. I'm literally looking at the Wikipedia of the song. I didn't know this, but it's just cool because kind of just flow, talk about a little bit about music, and then things just kind of permutations and things sprout up from our conversation. I like it. It's some
Absolutely.
little music education here. I like it.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not a computer. I can't. I probably don't have perfect memory, but
Yeah, exactly. But the fact
yeah,
that you knew that, though, you knew that that was still good, man.
yeah, yeah. And I'm a Stones freak. To me, they're
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for you to
the
do a
alpha and the
Stone
omega.
song, man. I'm waiting for you to do a Stone song
Well,
lyrics.
the reason I'm not is because of that. I don't want to go right home. I don't want to go right home,
Well, you see
and
what I'm
into
doing?
my room,
Like,
but I will.
but the Stones to you are like the Killers to me kind of thing. Like I have no, shame doing the kill. I told you I'm gonna do at least one Killers lyric song per month. So you're
Yeah.
welcome to do as many songs as you want, Joe.
I don't want to kill it, no pun
Yeah, no,
intended,
I'm
but
just telling you, don't you have to because we're saving some of the big actors. We're saving like I know you're saving De Niro.
and incidentally, Sidney Poitier was part of our African American history. That's
Yeah,
okay.
no, I wasn't trying to like. I know we've done a bunch of like African Americans.
We
We
love
we have to be
everybody because you know
coincidental
that.
on,
Yeah.
it's Black History Month. But my point is, it's like, it's Black History Month, and it's like, why shouldn't we, at least highlight some Black artists who also might not be that well known? Like a lot of people might not know Nina Simone. So,
Oh yeah, especially
kinda,
for
I
this
think
song, Sean. That was
I'm, I'm
excellent.
I'm very happy that I just stumbled upon this song on my playlist and it just came, because I got a lot of songs on my playlist and this one really hit me. It stood out to me. And
Yeah.
then it's one of those things you happened to mention it 2 episodes ago. And then it's by Nina Simone. It's just, it's really cool. It just happens to be Black History Month. We're gonna do, it doesn't have to be Black History Month if we're, to do African American artists. That's not what we're
Oh
talking about.
no, no, no.
It just happens to be Black History Month. It's just cool that we can spotlight some of these artists, and give them some spotlight and have people really recognize them. That's what it's about.
Damn straight.
I think I'm pretty happy what I saw in the news today. I don't want to get political, but Joe Biden, he's 80 years old or something. He visited Ukraine. I'm very impressed with Mr. Biden to go all the way to Ukraine and show our support for them. You know what I mean? That was very impressive to me.
It took some big cojones to do what he did, my friend. And I'm not just saying that because you know, he's my boy. Don't get me wrong. Because he's from here too. He's from our area and everything. And the man, like I said to you, he's 80 years old. I wouldn't want him trying to play Jeopardy because the fast twitch is affected when you get that old, but his slow twitch. And when you're president, you never have to say, hey, we're going to war in 10 seconds, make a decision. No, you have time. You have at least a couple of hours. At worst case scenario, you have a couple of hours to make big decisions. And when he can process something, he's really, really still one of the best in the world, literally. But what he did to go over there without any military and without any U.S. troops on the ground and covertly get in there, I think was freaking great. And I think it took balls the size of church bells, my friend, and he has them.
Yeah,
So
because I read it. He took a nearly 10-hour train ride from the border of Poland, to get to where he needed to go in Kyiv. So
yeah,
he's an old guy. He's president. So that's what I'm saying. Like people are like, oh, he's too old to be president, but
no, sir.
he's 80 years old, but he's still made a trip to a dangerous war-torn country that's being attacked. And no matter what political side you're on, we want to see our presidents, be strong and go. This trip is definitely making, sending a message because I putting on a station like Fox News or something like that. I love to hear what they're saying, like they're probably coming up with various reasons why his trip to Ukraine is like the wrong thing or it's dangerous or it's just
Yeah.
it's fake. But just viewing it as just an act of solidarity with Ukraine, I think it's a very good thing.
Yeah, I won't even hypothesize about what that channel's doing or whatever. There was just some other stuff come up about them over the weekend that I knew all along that it's not even a bit. You look into it, you'll find out. I knew it all along. Everyone knew it all along. But anyway, Ronald Reagan is not a man I agreed with very much at all, but I don't think he was too old to be president. And he proved that he was. I didn't agree with his ideology. Very often I didn't. But I still respected him as a man. I respected the fact that he always respected our country and the Constitution. And although I couldn't stand a lot of the decisions he made, I will not go say, oh, he's 80 or he was 79. He's too old. No, he wasn't. He wasn't. So now, after he got out of office, he developed some problems, and who knows where, only. But while he was in office, he was mentally capable of making decisions, and he brought with him a lifetime, a wealth of experience and knowledge. Again, I did not agree with him very often at all, but I will not sit here and tell you the man was too old to be president, because he wasn't too old to be president. So neither is Joseph.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
I just wanted to say that because I don't want it to seem like it's political. Like no, it's Ronald Reagan was a Republican, and I say all the things I said. I disagree with him, ideologically, but I will not go out and say all that bullshit about him. He was not old enough. He was not too old to be president. So
absolutely.
That's all.
So, talking about Ukraine, I guess my next topic would be, Joe, did you have Taco Bell on Saturday?
No, sir. I wasn't even that hungry. I went and I messed around at McDonald's, and I didn't even do my full tilt. But I was just feeling out of sorts Saturday, and I had the double quarter pounder with cheese, large fries, 6 nuggets, and a blueberry muffin, and that's kind of light for me.
Didn't you say the blueberry muffins are good?
The blueberry, see, I got tired of the hot apple pie, and this is not even that great, right? And the chunks of, when I eat apple pie, Sean, I like the chunks of apple to be soft. If I want to eat an apple, I'll eat a goddamn apple,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's nothing worse than eating apple pie and going crunch, crunch. It's like, it sucks, and that's what happens with. So anyway, I saw this now, and they have a counter there with muffins and so forth. And when you get a good blueberry muffin, I know people eat them in the morning. You get a good blueberry muffin, that's dessert, brah. I mean, so I had them, and they're really good. They're like these things that you can get out at like a Starbucks or something. They're not just some little muffin. It's a nice size muffin, good blueberries in it. It's like cake. And then on the top, it's just that nice little crispy, sugary layer up top. And it was just tremendous. So I had that, but I didn't need a second hamburger because I wasn't that hungry.
Well, you got the double though, right? Did you got the double?
Oh yeah,
You basically had, that's basically 2 when you think about it, but
I guess.
Yeah, so you got me. Did you ever try the Wawa blueberry muffin?
I walk back past that counter in Wawa all the time, and
Because
I've never grabbed anything from it.
I have on my TikTok, I got a couple of food reviews up, and I reviewed a Wawa blueberry muffin. And it was delicious. As you'll see if you check out the video, the link's going to be on the description. But yeah, the Wawa, dude, Joe, the Wawa blueberry muffins are very good too.
I'll have to check it out. Usually when I go to Wawa, I told you what my normal deal is. And if I grab my dessert, it's those tremendous Wawa chocolate chip cookies. But maybe I'll mess around and change up at some point. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So do you know who Richard Belzer is? He just died. He was on Law. Didn't you watch Law and Order?
I did watch Law and Order. I know you're talking about. The funny thing is, and this is weird, Sean, I swear to you, I thought this man died about 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know. Maybe it was, you know what it was? It was probably 5 or 6 years ago. The earth-shattering news was he's leaving the show because he has X, Y, and Z. And then it went away in my mind. And when he came back on the news, like he passed away, I'm like, didn't he go about 5 years ago? Or am I starting to lose my stuff? I don't know, but it's a shame. I've watched the show, one of the longest, I think the longest running show in TV history. And his character, he was always funny. He was always a little sarcastic and, with the one-liners and everything. And
did you know, I didn't realize he's also a stand-up comedian. I had no clue.
Oh, I think I do remember him from way back in the day doing some stand-up comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in radio for a little bit too. He had a show on WNBC.
Yeah.
In the late 1970s called Brink and Belzer in New York City. And he was also a freaking I should know this. He was a freaking guest because I heard Howard talking about it this morning. I didn't catch the whole Stern show today yet, but I listened to a little bit in the morning on the way to work. And Howard was saying like he called him like Bells. Howard was calling him Bells. And I'm like, how does he know this guy? But he's a freaking guest in the Stern show, I guess. And I just maybe it was before my time because I started off watching the Stern show on the E Network. But it was only like half an hour, little bits and pieces you saw of the show. But I really don't remember Belzer being on the Stern show. So that's, it's pretty interesting. Now I'm happy we're commemorating him on our show because he was associated with the Stern show. So it must be an okay guy,
Yeah. Yeah. I've always enjoyed his humor and so forth. And it's a shame. We're all going to get there though,
Yeah. But he was 78 years old. So rest in peace, Richard Belzer.
Yep.
I didn't even, I know who he is. I see in the picture because I've seen some Law and Order. Like Law and Order is an entertaining show if you have time just to binge a bunch.
Yeah.
So I know exactly who the dude is when I look at him. But when I first saw in the news, like Richard Belzer, I'm like, who is that? But once I saw the picture, I was like, okay, I know who this guy is.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Always with the sunglasses. Yeah.
yeah, I wonder, did he have, because a lot of people do that who have like eye problems. Like, did he, I wonder if he had some eye problems or
I think
something.
he may have. I think he may have because he was always with the sunglasses.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah.
rest in peace, sir.
R.I.P.
Um, you have anything else you want to talk about in our free talk opening here? You got anything on your mind, Joe?
Offhand, and we'll get to it when the appropriate time comes, but Jimmy Carter is one of the best men that I am aware of. And Jimmy Carter's 98 years old, and he just went into hospice to come home to live out the rest of his days with his family. And the time will come when we'll talk further about this, but I just wanted to, a quick prayer for Jimmy Carter and his family. And just to remind folks on a different subject, but our brothers and sisters in Turkey are going through hell right now. And it's natural disaster, obviously. And I just wanted to remind everybody they can, with a text, with a phone, with a text, they can donate $10. And but $10 isn't much, but the more people throw in $10, it adds up. So they can donate to help those people that you see on the news while we're eating our dinner in comfort. And we look into the world news tonight and we see these people rolling around or trapped under this or that and little babies dying. You can text Red Cross, one word, Red Cross, REDCROS, Red Cross. Text that word to the number 90999. Again, the word Red Cross to the number 90999, and it will only take $10, and it will check with you before it does. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So as far as our actress of the week, it's an actress this week. Cate Blanchett. She was born May 14th, 1969 in Melbourne, Australia. Her mom was a teacher and a property developer, and her dad was an American ad executive from Texas. So she was kind of like a mixture of Australian and American, but she was raised in Australia. And then her father died suddenly at 40 of a heart attack, and she was only 10. So I guess my dad's father also died when he was 10. So I never got to meet my dad's father, my grandfather. This is something I just thought of. But she studied economics and fine arts at the University of Melbourne, but she dropped out after 1 year to travel overseas. While in Egypt, she was asked to be an extra as an American cheerleader in an Egyptian boxing film called Kaboria, whatever that is. So she was in need of money, so she accepted the job. And I guess she got a taste of acting while she was in Egypt. She came back and joined Australia's National Institute of Dramatic Arts and graduated in 1992. And, she immediately joined the Sydney Theatre after that. She did a lot of theater. And the rest is history. She became one of the best actresses we have in modern day. And I'll talk about it right now. Her breakout role was Elizabeth in 1998. She won Best Actress for Golden Globe. That was her breakout role. I actually never saw that movie, but I think
Neither
it's
have
a
I.
period piece about Queen Elizabeth or something. She's performed in over 20 stage productions. So she's still, even though she's a big time Hollywood film actress, she's still involved in a lot of theater in the Sydney Theatre Company. Her and her husband, Andrew Upton, were artistic directors of the Sydney Theatre Company from 2008 to 2013. A lot of people know her because she was in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I thought those movies were just so boring, but a lot of people know her from that, who aren't like movie buffs. And she was also in a Marvel movie, the Thor Ragnarok. So yeah, she's just like, what put her on my radar was I recently just saw a movie called Tar in theaters. It's up for Best Movie. She's also up for Best Actress for that. I was enthralled and captivated the whole movie at this woman's performance. Oh my God. It was just like, wow. I was like, she's the real deal. And I'm like, why haven't I like paid attention to her more closely? Why have I not seen more stuff that she's in? But then I started looking at what she's been in, and I'm like, oh, I mean, she's been in a lot of stuff I've seen. Just to give you an example, stuff that didn't even make my top 5. She was in Eyes Wide Shut in 1999. That was kind of a weird Tom Cruise like sex type
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
They're wearing like masks and stuff. It was like sex
Nicole
party.
Kidman was in it with him too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She was actually in the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Zissou. That was with Bill Murray. I didn't realize
Yes.
she was in that. Now because what's she's on my radar. So I'm like, now okay, I remember her from that. I remember her from that. She was in Hot Fuzz, and a funny movie. A couple funny.
Benjamin Button.
Yep,
Benjamin Button.
that's definitely my top five, bro. I'll get to that.
Okay. Sorry, bud.
No, this is my non top five movies that I just realized that she was in. She was in Indiana Jones in 2008. A
Okay.
movie called Hannah in 2011. A movie I really want to see. I think this movie won best. No, she won the Academy Award for Best Actress in a movie called Blue Jasmine. I never saw it. It's from 2013. I'm gonna definitely check that out. She was in Ocean's
And
8, Nightmare Alley, Don't Look Up. So those are movies that didn't even make my top five. She's got a good pedigree. She's been in a lot of stuff.
yeah.
But one of her strengths is just being so believable and so diverse and versatile, and just like her facial expressions, her tone of voice, because she's got an Australian accent. So when she plays these roles, she doesn't always have the Australian accent. So I always respect actors from foreign countries who can like do the domestic accents of the movie that they're playing and the country that they're playing.
Right.
It takes a lot of work because it's your natural way to speak is just built into you. It's ingrained. But as far as my top five for her, start with number one. Number one, the movie I just saw, Tar. Joe, I highly recommend this movie, man. This movie, probably one of the top five movies I saw in 2022, and I saw a lot of movies. She plays like a maestro conductor of like this big orchestra, and she's kind of like a very high strung narcissistic type person in it. But the whole movie, you're really just seeing like, you're following her around and seeing how she does and how she acts and how she treats people. And she is very intense. And she said for that role, she had to relearn play. She knew how to play the piano, I guess, when she was younger, like a little bit, but she had to relearn to play the piano for the role. She talked a little bit about that. I think I was on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Right.
So she really commits to things. And I'm pretty sure she's a method actress for a lot of different roles, I think, because that's what it seems like. Because she said when she took the role for Tar, she was nervous that she'd ever like regain her mind, because she had the character she played in Tar was a really like high strung, intense. So if she did method acting for that, the people around her are probably like, whoa, like, you're acting very different, but they know, she's an actress. So I guess that's comes with the territory. Number two, Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Obviously, Joe, it's one of your favorites, apparently. So
It was a good one.
I love that movie. I saw that in the movie theaters with my friend John. Brad Pitt, he basically starts out as an old man. He gets younger and younger as the movie goes on. He ages in the opposite direction of normal people.
Yeah.
She plays his love interest in that. Number three, The Aviator. That's all about Howard Hughes. Directed by Martin Scorsese. She plays Katharine Hepburn, who was also an actress in real life.
Yeah.
And she was the first actor in history to win an Academy Award for portraying another Academy Award winning actor. So that's pretty interesting, because Katharine Hepburn apparently won an Academy Award and she portrayed her.
That's neat.
She said in her speech, when she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for that role in The Aviator, that was from 2004. There's a quote though. She said, "You're not extending enough on your follow through. Follow through is everything in life." I think that was a quote from her in that movie. She's talking to Howard Hughes in the movie. So I thought that was a pretty good quote. Think about that, Joe. You're not extending enough on your follow through. Follow through is everything in life. It's pretty.
It is. It's that extra mile. Yeah. Yeah.
Number four, a really good movie, The Talented Mr. Ripley. That's from 1999. Matt Damon's in it. He plays kind of like a con artist type guy. She was in that movie. I love that movie. Awesome movie. And then number five, I had Notes on a Scandal. That's from 2006. It is what it kind of self-describing or I guess it's self-describing, but Notes on a Scandal is just, I haven't seen it in a while. It's from 2006, but I really liked it. I mean, Judi Dench is in it. And it was just kind of an interesting story that involved a scandal. And it was she was very good in it. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my top five. Cate Blanchett, great actress. I think she's one of the best of our generation. Can't say enough about her. Joe, when I told you I was choosing Cate Blanchett, what were you thinking? Did you have to look her up, or you're just like, I gotta check out who this is?
Do
When you
you,
saw,
can I
you
tell
saw
you
her,
the truth? Can I tell you the truth? When I heard the name,
yeah,
I pictured the girl in the Titanic movie.
oh, okay.
For some, and then, so I punched it in to my phone.
Winona,
I said,
you talking
let me
about
get this.
Winona Ryder you're thinking of? Or Kate, no, you're
No.
thinking of Kate Winslet.
Yes.
Kate
Yeah.
Winslet,
Now
okay.
that's probably why, because the names are similar. So I said, let me mess around and just look this up real quick. I looked it up and I did a little reading about her. She was in all of these the Harry Potter thing. I don't watch the Harry Potter. I don't. Yeah, it's that to me. But obviously, a lot of people did, and she was in the Harry Potter thing. It said in there. So that in and of itself is pretty impressive. And then she looked at it, she worked in all those other movies you talk about, and the only things that I recognized were the Button and the Life Aquatic. I remember seeing those. I did see the the one you talked about with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. I did see that years ago, but I can't remember who the hell was in it. But I remember her face. Remember her face now that I had looked her up and I saw a couple movies she was in. And yeah, she's been around a long time, very talented. And
Are you
what can
sure?
you
I
say?
don't. Are you sure she was in Harry Potter, dude? I don't think she was, man. Just to clarify, just she was in.
Okay.
She was in Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Is that where you can?
That's I'm so that what isn't Lord of the Rings? Isn't that
No,
the same?
dude, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you look now. This is where maybe our generations like none of that stuff really appeals to me. The Harry Potter, she was in the Lord of the Rings. Okay, and my orthopedic shoes are here tonight. They're really getting a good.
Yeah, you had me
But
scrambling there. I'm looking up all our movies. I'm like, was she in Harry Potter? Because I
I
mean,
thought that was synonymous. Aren't they the same damn
no,
thing?
dude,
Okay.
they're
Uh,
entirely different, man.
okay. But all those sorcerer, imaginary, this king and queen from that all that stuff to me is I don't. So when I saw that, I guess Harry Potter just jumped. Now, one? Didn't Harry Potter have one of those episodes, like one of those that had something to do with rings?
Dude, I don't know. I mean,
It's
so
okay.
so the Harry Potter franchise is J.K. Rowling, a female author,
Uh-huh.
and the Lord of the Rings author is J.R.R. Tolkien. So
Okay.
maybe somewhere along the lines you saw like like J.K. Rowling and J.R.R. Maybe it can maybe, and plus they're kind of like geeky franchise type things. And if you're not familiar with it, it's easy to confuse.
There it is. I think your last two sentences, they're both kind of, I don't mean to use the word geeky, but they're a certain niche franchise thing that if and I don't, not really into it. And I conflated the two of them. Okay. So she was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
So if she was in Lord of the Rings, that gives her a little more credence too. So
yeah, absolutely. So shout out to Cate Blanchett. Great actress, seems like a great person. I just watched her speech she won a BAFTA for leading actress for Tar. And the first thing she did was thank the crew first and foremost. And she didn't really take credit. She's like, it takes it takes a village to make this happen. It wasn't just me. So I thought that was very humble of her to say.
yes,
And someone on the movie, the set of the movie, said, check your ego at the door and let's attempt to make something magnificent.
I like the movie she did with Ed Harris too. I can't remember the name. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, great actress. All right. Anyways, moving on to Snapple Fact.
Let me ask you a question. So we're talking about
Okay.
movies and we're riffing here. And I just want to ask a question. Did you get a chance to see Places in the Heart?
I didn't watch it yet. However, my roommate actually watched it.
Okay.
She enjoyed it. She said she was just a little confused by the ending. She said the
That's
ending was
why I said you got to pay super, super close attention to the ending. And off air, I'll explain to you what to tell her. And she can also look it up if she can look up the ending. But the ending is just so god darn cool. It really, really is. Now, the whole movie's fantastic. The ending is really original, creative, and you really got to be looking though. And I'll explain it to her, whatever. But even without the ending, as great as it is, as creative as it is, the whole movie is just pretty awesome. I'll let you see it at your leisure. But I would like you to have that done by Friday. If not, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
I think,
But we'll
no,
get to it.
I honestly think I saw that movie like a while ago, but I just can't remember. Like there was also a movie like Fields of Heaven or something like that. Some like really like heartwarming type movie. Remember that movie? There's a movie like Fields of Heaven or something like that.
Well, there are
Like
a lot.
what is it called? I don't know. Days of Heaven, maybe?
I don't know, bro. You know, there are myriad movies that reference heaven and this and that, so it could be anything. But um, I'll tell you off air because
Yeah,
I don't
so
want to spoil
yeah,
alert for
I'm
anybody.
gonna watch it for
I'll
sure.
tell you
But
off air, and
yeah,
I tell you what it was. It's a great ending. But even if you don't fully understand that ending, you get 98% of the movie till it gets to that point. It's just still wonderful anyway. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to check with you, and before we move on to the
I'll
next.
watch it. I'll watch
Okay.
it. I've been catching up on the show House of Dragon, and I just caught up on the show You on Netflix.
I've been
Um,
binging on that Miss Maisel, man. I never in a million years thought I would like something like that. And I'm just tearing it up, dude. I just love it.
yeah, no,
And
it's a great show.
yeah,
I have to watch the new season. I'm a season behind the Maisel, but awesome show.
yep.
Okay, Snapple fact. Joe, today's Snapple fact is Snapple fact 1621. You can tell what a narwhal has eaten each year based on the layers of its tusk. Every year, a new growth layer is added to the narwhal's spiral tusk. The individual layers act as an archive of data that reveals what and where the animal has eaten. Um, Pretty interesting. And same, it's a similar concept to rings in a tree trunk. Every year, the new growth is added. It grows longer and thicker throughout the animal's life. And because the tusk is connected to the rest of the body through blood, each new growth layer records aspects of animal physiology during the year it was formed. Um, so it's interesting, because I think the
Yeah.
narwhals, they use that tusk to search for food, but they also, if they have a long tusk, they try to impress females with the size of the tusk. Um, I'm not gonna. There's no sexual innuendo or
No,
joke.
there isn't. There
That's
isn't.
low hanging fruit. But I'll just
you,
use
the
the law.
silence. You said that, and then there was silence. It's too much silence. Go ahead. No,
Um,
it's good though. It's very interesting. Those Snapple facts are they're really fun stuff.
Yeah, it said up until 1990, the narwhal's food consisted of prey linked to sea ice, such as halibut and Arctic cod. But since around year 2000, the amount of mercury increased significantly in the narwhal's tusk without a simultaneously shift in food items. So I guess they're getting a lot of data from the narwhal's tusk, which is pretty interesting.
That's neat stuff. Very good choice.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's move on to On the Real. On the Real, we got 3 stories. 2 are fake, 1 is real.
Just headlines, right?
Not the real one. We're just doing headlines today, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so first story. Serial target mugger on the loose. That's
Serial target mug. Okay,
yeah,
so serial. I mean, one after the other.
no,
Rep-
the store target. There's a
Right,
person.
and target. Someone repeatedly is burglarizing target.
No, they're mugging people in the Target parking
Well,
lot.
serial meaning one after the other, not meaning the food, right? Cereal, right?
Yeah,
With
serial.
an
I mean,
S.
they keep
Right,
doing it over and over and again.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Serial mugger at Target.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Are you Googling that, sir? Is that what you need the right?
I am not. I don't have that much energy. You know me. I'm not. And I don't Google anything while we're talking. But go ahead.
The second story. Uh, thief steals nearly 200,000 Cadbury cream eggs in Britain. That's
Nearly how many?
200,000.
All right.
And third one is AMC Theaters files for bankruptcy. This one really pissed me off. I go to like because I know people like the people are saying, why do you go to the movies? And I have this movie subscription, so I'm really like I don't want to get into it. I'm angry about it. But anyway, those are the 3 stories. Pick the real one, sir.
Why would you be angry about something that's fictitious?
I mean,
You're angry about it?
well,
You're angry about it. You wanted to say you're angry about it to lead me to believe that it was true.
maybe I
So
got
that comes off the board.
maybe I got you fooled. Maybe I got you fooled.
That comes off the board.
Okay.
Now there's a guy repeatedly. Can you read that Target one again? The serial target.
Yes, serial target mugger on the loose.
Okay, serial target mugger on the loose. And the other one was, say it again.
Thief steals nearly 200,000 Cadbury cream eggs in Britain.
200,000. I'm just going to say if the Target one were real, the target is in the United States primarily, and we would hear about something, especially if it was a repeat offender. I think I would have heard it. The AMC thing, I don't believe in, especially since you tipped it on and trying to give it a little bit more validity by saying you're pissed off about it. Like, oh, he's pissed off about it. Must be.
I go to the movies all the time, and I have a subscription. So when I heard it was they're filing for bankruptcy, I was flipping the hell out, dude.
Right. If you, which leads me to believe, wow, he heard about it, so it must be real. I'm going to go with the middle one, the Cadbury eggs.
You're saying that one's real?
Yeah.
Okay, you are right.
No. Are you kidding me?
You're right.
Holy smokes, get the hell out of here.
You sure you didn't Google this, dude?
I swear to God.
I thought I had
Sean,
you stuffed. So if I never said I was angry about the AMC theaters, would that have been, you gave me some of you said you didn't want to give me some of your insights into how you figure me out.
I know, I should.
So if I didn't elaborate in the AMC one, would you have chosen that one?
I don't know. What? I had it to the 2, and I thought logically though, if somebody were repeatedly,
because like I think you haven't gotten one wrong in like 5 episodes. That's why I was like, is this guy Googling the stories? What's going on, man?
Sean, I just messed up the Lord of Rings and Harry Potter. Okay, I messed up the Rolling Stones song. Yeah, but it's okay. It's like we're talking, and it's okay. But there's proof. I don't sit here and look with me. What you see is what you get, brah. So I made a couple little and here. Like, do you know me? Do you think I'm going to sit here and start, no, I'm not going to do it, because then you only cheat yourself till it takes the fun out of the game. But you tipped me off with that extra little sauce you put on, like, and I'm really pissed off about it, because that leads me, okay, he's trying to really sell it. Like, I'm really mad about this. And I'm thinking, if he's mad, it must have really no, whoa. Okay, so that was one. Now I'm down to 50-50. And I just thought the other one, that a repeated Target customer, if it's someone robs a Target, I may not hear about it. But if there's a repeat Target burglar, mugger, I'm going to hear about it, because I watch a lot of news. Yeah. I just thought, now 200,000 seems like a lot, but if you get a case of these things, and they're 500 per case, then that starts making things a little different, so that's where I went.
That's what we're going to do. So just to anybody listening, we've kind of revised the On the Real segment. Instead of doing these long, elaborate 3 different stories, we're doing 3 headlines. And the true one, I'm going to elaborate and tell you a little bit of detail. So the true one, the Cadbury, it happened in Telford, outside Birmingham. He made out with about $37,000 worth of eggs, the police in West Mercia said. The police described it as an egg-stravagant theft. Get it? Egg-stravagant theft.
He made a quick exit. Now go ahead.
His name is Jody Poole. He pleaded guilty to criminal charges of damage and theft that had not been tampered with and could still be sold in stores. They said the theft was premeditated. It said, usually chocolate eggs involve impulse buys at the grocery store. This was definitely like way more premeditated than just going to the grocery store and deciding to steal a couple eggs. He stole $200,000. He used a stolen truck cab to tow away a trailer full of the treats. That was in the Guardian, the British newspaper. And the police spotted him, and then he gave himself up. So, the Cadbury egg story.
Excellent choice, brother.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so as far as Brian Kohberger and Alex Murdaugh update.
Oh boy.
So the 2 victims had discovered his wife and son. They discovered bags of pills in Mr. Murdaugh's computer bag a month before the killings. It's possible new evidence for his motive, and so they started accusing him of being addicted to pills and spending a lot of money. He said Mr. Murdaugh sent a text to a close friend 4 days before the murders. He said he needed to take out an additional $600,000 line of credit. And that possibly could have been, to get more pills, because they said he wrote large checks for as much as $60,000 in a week to a distant cousin who was purchasing the drugs for him. And then there's also new evidence that there's a video taken by his son who was killed at the scene of the crime minutes before the murders, and they heard Murdaugh's voice in the video. So that's kind of a coincidence, or They heard his
you know.
voice in the video at the scene of the crime, and he's saying he was never at the scene of the crime. You know what I mean? On the video,
Yep.
so that's interesting. Um, and then he's trying to create an alibi. He tried to call his dead wife's phone and texted her after she was dead. He was saying he was going to visit his mother, and we talked about his last episode. He took a ride to his mother's house where he possibly could have disposed of one of the weapons. Then on the way back, he made a series of phone calls to friends and relatives. So it's very suspicious. Like this guy was, making phone calls and tons of phone calls and stuff to show that he was like,
Yep.
he's probably thinking like, what if they didn't think I killed somebody? I was making all these phone calls. Why would I talk to all these people if I did it? You know what I mean? So, we know Mr. Murdaugh. We know you're probably guilty, sir.
I was just going to say that ironically, CNN is running a 3-hour special on the Murdaugh dynasty. They call it the Murdaugh dynasty because these people had so much money down there and so much power that there were so many people that couldn't stand them, that were afraid of them. Though they were really, really, really influential, powerful, and their power went back almost a century. It's old money down there in the South and so forth. And CNN is doing it was on last night. You could probably dial it up at any time you want. With TV now, you can dial anything up. But it's called the Murdaugh Dynasty. It's a 3-hour thing, and it shines light on a lot of things. The guy probably did have some kind of it's not outlandish to think he probably did have some kind of a pill addiction, but even an opiate addiction or something like that. When you talk about the amount of money, you'll see that he embezzled from all over the place. There's no way a person could take that many pills. You know what I mean? So, he probably did, but I don't know if that's probably not the reason why he needed so much money. And I can't even tell you. The word deplorable is doesn't even begin to. So, I would urge anybody who's even unsure about this, because this is a complex story. It really has a whole lot of different levels. It's almost unbelievable. But with him, it was that old saying that, at first we practice to deceive, oh, what a tangled web we weave. When at first we practice to deceive. You tell one lie and then another lie, and then you're chasing that the whole forever and ever. And if one inconsistency shows up, they got you. And that's kind of what happened, So, it's saying is, oh, what a tangled web we weave.
Yep.
When at first we practice to deceive. So once you tell one lie, brother, you're going to be chasing that lie forever, and sooner or later you're going to get caught. So.
Yep. Yeah, which leads me to we're not going to talk about Brian Koberger tonight. There's not a lot of updates on that monster. I preface it, potential monster, but all the signs are there. All the previous incidents were there. This guy was a little bit off. Anyway, so let's move on to our current events. Current event tonight, actually, because, I've been thinking about this a little bit, Joe, because when I was talking about 80 for Brady, I kind of said, old people in the theater. And we talked about it. You're like, dude, don't call old people like that. It could be offensive. Call them older people. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But it got me thinking, because I've been reading a lot of different articles in New York Times. A lot of old people are targeted by con artists and thieves. There's been several articles in New York Times highlighting this. So one article, a 74-year-old was killed in New York City, and it just underscores a rise in attacks on the older people. Older New Yorkers.
Right.
They're very vulnerable. This lady's name was Maria Hernandez. She was in her Upper West Side apartment. 911 call came before 10 p.m. on January 18th. A woman found her sister lying face down on the floor in her Upper West Side apartment. Her hands and feet were bound behind her with yellow and black tape.
Oh my God.
There were clear signs of sexual abuse.
Oh my God.
They arrested LaShawn Mackey, 47, and Terrence Moore, 53. Terrence Moore had a prior conviction for second-degree murder and robbery. But they say this is just underscores like a growing trend. Violent crimes like robbery and felony assault against people 65 and older rose by about 10% in 2022. The number of rapes more than doubled to 17 during the same period. Grand larceny, cases of grand larceny where there are financial scams and credit card fraud. It dipped 6%, but I'll get into that why that's not really that meaningful in a second. In New York City, there's a lot of elderly people. The number of people 65 and older is expected to jump to more than 40% to 1.4 million by 2040. By comparison, this general population is only supposed to grow about 9.5%. So the older population in New York City is keep growing and growing, and they're being targeted because they're vulnerable. They are perceived as having little self-defense or no defense at all. So they're being targeted by a lot of people. And they're targeted because a lot of older people have money. So they feel like they could be tricked. The con artists and the bad people feel like they could trick the old people. And just another article that I read a couple months ago and connecting the two articles, it's called Retirees Are Losing Their Life Savings to Romance Scams. Con artists are using dating sites to prey on, they're preying on lonely people, particularly older ones. It really accelerated during the pandemic. They claimed 139 million from adults age 60 and older in 2020. That was up from 84 million the previous year. So when COVID happened, the romance scams went from 84 million to 139 million. Recently, just an example, someone swindled a Holocaust survivor out of his life savings of nearly $3 million. Yeah, she accepted a Facebook friend request from a handsome stranger. He called himself a Norwegian doctor working on Iraq, called himself Tony. After a couple months of daily communication on encrypted keywords, encrypted messaging apps, the guy's, covering his tracks. All his messages are deleted, I guess. He began asking for money. That's how it usually starts. They're nice to you. They try to seduce you. You're like, wow, this person's really interested in me. And then they start asking for money. And once they start asking for money, that's a red flag.
Yes, it is.
So, there's a lot of scams going on. The person went to local state police, but they couldn't do anything about it. So this was scary about these scams. That a lot of these police don't have jurisdiction. They're like, okay, the person targeting you is probably from a foreign country or somewhere else. We can't help you out here. The typical playbook, they say they claim to be a professional working abroad. The con artist says they're working abroad. They exploit their loneliness. They quickly establish a bond. They build an imagined future with them. Then they plan an in-person meeting that depends on the victim's willingness to part with money. It's all about how much money they can get out of them. It really is sick. It's sickening.
It really is. And I've seen it. I've seen many stories about it.
Yeah. So a lot of there's Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. It gives online platform, including dating sites, immunity from liability for content posted by their users. So a lot of these apps are protected. It makes it hard to sue the platforms over the content they host. It really happens a lot to elderly people, and it doesn't stop until one of the grown children steps in and puts a stops to it. They keep more and more money to these people. It really is sick. And then between the constant violent crimes in the New Yorker, the older people in New York, and then the romance scams, my parents are in their 60s, but they're married and they have some self-awareness about them. So they wouldn't, they probably wouldn't fall for romance scams because they're obviously in a happily married couple. But there's a lot of lonely older people out there, widows and people who have never been married. And they're not, they're losing some of their, as you get older, you start to lose a little bit of your mental capacity. I'm not saying that's their whole reason here, but they're vulnerable and they're not hip with technology. They're like, okay, why would somebody scam me? Why would they create a fake account with the fake pictures? Why would they fool me? And they're sort of naive in a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it's sickening though. Imagine a 74-year-old woman is bounded in her own apartment.
Oh, Jesus.
Yellow and black tape and sexually assaulted and murdered. And then that's scary. And New York City is a great place, but there's a lot of violence that goes on in these big cities. And older people, if they're well within their rights to want to retire in the city and live in their apartment.
Yeah.
A lot of times they have rent controlled apartments. They've been there for so long. They're getting good deals. They get to live in the city and enjoy it. But they're a threat. You know what I mean? The threat, because there's all sorts of threats out there. It's sickening, and they're being targeted because they're vulnerable. This is the sick part about the world. A lot of vulnerable people who can't defend themselves are targeted. It's like predators see prey that can't defend themselves, and they prey on them. It's really sick. So I know, Joe, you're almost 60 years old. You're a really smart, in tune, hip guy. So I doubt you'd fall for a scam, but You never know, man. Because a couple of years ago, I was actually catfished. There was a girl who reached out to me on Instagram. She said I was cute. She started flirting with me. And then I just realized, she wasn't a real person because I asked her, I'm like, can you send me a video of you saying my name? Can we FaceTime? Can we talk? So I know you're a real person. And she didn't. She said her phone broke. And then she sent me a picture of her broken phone. And I Googled broken iPhone. And the first stock photo on Google was a picture of the broken iPhone she sent me. And that sent chills through my spine. And a couple of years ago, I was overweight. I was lonely. So I kind of almost fell for it, but I always knew I was never going to send her money, but I knew that's where she was going. She said like her parents both died. She had a victim story. So, but it could happen. It happens to a lot of people, even people my age, but it's happened to a lot of elderly people. So Joe, how do you feel about this stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I'm 58 years old, but you know me, I'm more like 44, 45. I'm 6'1", 240 and put together pretty well, can still go to the gym and have a day.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're like an elderly person, senior citizen at all, but
right.
People around your age are being bamboozled. You know what I mean? That's like
people a little older. Yeah, a little older, and much weaker. And maybe, now technologically, I don't mess around too much at all. I just don't. I don't, as far as communicating with people or meeting strangers or stuff like that. And my antennas are always up with everything. I mean, my antennas are, so I'm fortunate in that, unlike some of the real older folks now, like that are in their 70 and 75 and that have no technical experience whatsoever with this kind of thing, they are really vulnerable and so forth. But my antennas have always they've been up. As a matter of fact, they were up a lot of times, like you said, and kids will step in for their parents. I a couple of times caught some phone calls coming to my dad's house, and they were a little shady. And there were a couple of things that happened with some people like knocking at the door and so forth and so on. But I thought to myself, it's a good thing I was here to see this or that and to look over things, because people will do that. Now, as far as like I said, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's physically there's no there's very little vulnerability, if any. Technologically, I don't participate. I don't mess around. I don't have much money for anybody to take anyway, so that's not even but even if I did, I'd be pretty good. What I think of the whole thing in general, I think what kind of a younger generation are we bringing up that, that this kind of thing is happening to? I don't know what values are not being instilled in people that would even think about doing this kind of thing to older people. And the tape and the raping, and that's I can't even.
You want to hear another one?
I can't even
think. Another one, Joe. Another one. An 89-year-old woman was hospitalized with second-degree burns after a woman stormed into her Bronx apartment and poured boiling water on her to get her to tell her where she kept her money. Like, this is the type of stuff that's going on in the city, man.
Oh my God. Yeah, and I think that another thing has to do with it too is geography. I think, like, I live in a building, but we have an eclectic. We have families, we have some single folks, we have some older folks, some younger folks, but there's a good share of folks who were retirees and so forth that live here. I could never see anything like that happen here. Now, this isn't the Bronx. I mean, you have to, there's certain parts of every city has it too. Every city has these unconscionable crimes.
The one that the murder happened in the Upper West Side. The Upper West Side is pretty decent. You know what I mean? I mean,
it's still a big city though. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Any big city, you'll have more of this happening. Any big city. It's not a mark on the city. It's just.
Let me say real quick. Let me give it advice real quick. Advice to people, to old elderly people, to prevent stuff like this happening. Keep a list of phone numbers of utility companies handy. So if someone knocks on your door, claiming to be from the gas company, for example, they can quickly call to find out whether the visit was legitimate. Because I'll give you an example. My grandfather is he's about 80 years old. He wrote a check, thousands of dollars to a guy who came to his house claiming to be from the police department or something, or work for the police department. And he put my grandfather on the phone with he thought it was his daughter, my aunt. And it was the same, they recorded my aunt's voice and they duplicated her voice, and they had someone impersonating her. They used a computer program or something. And she was claiming that she was in jail and she needed to be bailed out of jail or something like that. So my grandfather gave this guy like thousands of dollars, and we're all like, how dumb can you be? Why'd you do that? But he's older and he was confused and he wanted to save his daughter, and he heard his daughter's voice on the phone. So they're getting pretty clever. Like, he heard his daughter's voice on the phone saying she was in trouble. And he was like, his fatherly instincts kicked in. He gave a check to get her out. And then obviously it was a scam. And that was going on around a local suburb close to where I live. So, this happens.
Yeah, and I've heard about that one for a while too. I've heard about that one. See, I've been on to this for a while, since my dad really started to get, older and so forth. I've been like on to this, and I'm just a very guarded person, and I've been on to this kind of thing for a long time. So I've heard about this one where they'll go in and they'll shake up an older person, and they'll have someone that sounds just like, if not a recording, someone that sounds just like a granddaughter or something like that, and say they're here, they're there, and they need bail money. But the best thing to do, and they tell these people the best thing to do is to hang up the phone and call somebody in your family that you trust, that someone else. So what they would have instructed your pop to do is to call, your father or you or somebody like that. But ahead of time, be looking for it. And if they're proactive, and the older folks get educated on this and to always be guarded, they'll think twice. So I'd rather have them think twice and be guarded.
You would think, like, I know, like it's probably never going to happen to you because you're always thinking, your antennas are always up. But a lot of older people just want to enjoy their retirement, relax, and they're yearning for some romance. Maybe they're lonely. So there's all different angles they can be attacked from, and not everyone's prepared. You know what I'm saying? Because these people make them very, very comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. You get these widows. A lot of times it's widows that are extremely lonely, and it should tip you off too that if you're a widow, I mean, listen, I'm not being facetious. If you're a 75-year-old widow and you've got someone that you're meeting online, and they look like Brad Pitt, listen, baby dolls, listen, come on. I mean, you have to look into it, because a lot of times it's like, you ask yourself, like, even me, I mean, if I see, first of all, I don't even mess with it. I used to go, but I don't, but even if I did, if I saw something that looked a little too, now still can, warrant some pretty, nice look. But if something looks way, way, way like, wow, if I met her at ShopRite, she's really, really, really good looking. She probably doesn't need to be looking at me or whatever. I mean, I can warrant some attractive women, but I mean, my God, look at that. Now, if I saw her at ShopRite, she probably wouldn't look at me. Look at her. But all of a sudden here, she's going to. So that's the thing. You have to ask yourself, whoever you are, if I was 10 feet away from this person in line somewhere, would there be attraction? Let's get real. So a lot of times, and I've seen these stories, Sean, and these widows, that I don't mean I don't mean to be a smart guy at all, but baby dolls, listen, if you're looking at a guy and he's 25, 30 years younger than you and looks like he could be a half a movie star, come on. What do you think? What do you think? Think. That's all. Because a lot of times you'll see the joker that they were talking to, and it's like, didn't they? Yeah. So
I saw there's a show called 90 Day Fiance, and there was this older woman on there, and it was a similar situation, like this younger, like, model guy from a foreign country. Of course, he was from like England or something, or he was claiming he was from Europe somewhere.
Right.
Way like half her age at least, and everyone watching it knew that she was being fooled and catfish. Even her kids were on the show, like, telling her, but she was so convinced. She was so convinced because, like, there was phone calls, and she was so convinced, and like, I was watching it unfold on camera on a reality show. I'm like, man, how does she not know she's being fooled here? So it's people's loneliness and the holes that they want to fill, the voids they have, can really make them vulnerable. Anybody, because like I said, I was a couple of years ago in 2019, I guess, I was around 33 years old, and I was out of shape. But when I got, when the girl started flirting with me on Instagram, I was like, okay, I used to get girls like this. It's not out of the question. but one of the first questions she asked me was if I make a lot of money. I should have known, like, why should I have to make a lot of money? But she was so
Exactly.
damn attractive. I was like, okay, let me just go with this and see what happens. You know what I mean? But then I figured it out,
Yeah, listen, I don't do I don't do the computer thing and this and that. It's just too risky for all these reasons, and you don't know who the hell you're talking. You really don't. And I told you a long time ago. I think the best way is when you're feeling your oats a little bit, you're feeling like you want to meet somebody. You go wherever you go and you see somebody at ShopRite or is that you do what you got to do. You the old-fashioned way, and then you each see what the hell you're dealing with right off the top and who you're dealing with. I like it the old-fashioned way. Call me old-fashioned, whatever it is, his case may be. But yeah, old people. This brings up something that I thought a long time ago. Shawnee, we have laws in this country where if you violate a child, rightfully so, you should be held twice, maybe three times. I mean, really, the penalty should be 2 or 3 times as harsh. I think they should incorporate legislation to where if you violate somebody over 65 years old, it should be tantamount to violating a child. It's like the extremely helpless and vulnerable, you're going to violate them. Guess what? You got extra coming your way, extra punishment.
Yeah,
Agreed?
it's not a bad idea. Preying on vulnerable people, and let's just
Special place in hell for them.
let's just preface that, dude. I mean, like, you're not saying that 65 and older people are like children where they're like that, that vulnerable, but you're making a point that they could be a little bit vulnerable, and they could not have their complete mental faculties. I would say not 65 and older. I would say probably like 80 and older.
Well, I don't,
It's a weird. Everybody's mental capacity is different, but I know the point you're trying to make, and the intentions you have are good because it's true. I mean, preying on people, vulnerable people is a horrible thing. So I know where you're going with that, sir.
Yeah, because there are physical. Most people get in their 70s and this and that kind of a thing. The little old guy can't really defend himself. So physically, he may still be mentally sharp, but I'm talking about vulnerability.
Yeah,
whether it be cognitive because they're kids, or they're little physically, they're little and they're not as strong as adults, or older people when they get older, even before the cognitive things set in, when you get older, you get less apt physically to be able to defend yourself. So therefore, I think we ought to incorporate some legislation that makes it just as egregious to violate someone over a certain age as in, because it's violating the vulnerable.
exactly.
Right? That's all. Violating the vulnerable. So
Yep.
that's a sad thing. But yeah, I've been aware of all those scams and everything like that. Dude, I don't even open, if I don't know where a text is coming from, I don't even open it. I delete the son of a bitch. I'm not even going to open it. That's another thing people say. If you're getting a text and you don't know where that text is coming from, there are things out there where if you hit that and just open that damn text, you're going to have problems. There's a virus coming in, there's this and that. So if you don't know where a text is coming from, slide the thing and delete the damn thing. I swear to God, that's just an example.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So that's the current event. Sorry, it was a kind of a sad and very discouraging one for older people, but there's lessons to be learned. So if anyone listens to our show, if we prevented anyone from being taken advantage of or having their money stolen, from being physically assaulted, that's a good thing. But as far as the victims out there, our prayers are with you.
Yep. And there's an old saying, someone said it's a historic saying, that the true measure of any society is how well they treat the weakest among them.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, so sports is going to be really quick. Joe, we're just going to do a quick. I just want to talk about the dunk contest really quick because NBA is on hiatus until Thursday because the All-Star break.
That boy was crack-a-lacking, boy. He was cool.
Mac McClung. I've known about this guy for a while because he went to Georgetown. He played against Villanova in college, then he transferred to Texas Tech. But I saw him a bunch, and I'm like, dude, this guy is a physical freak. I know he was a good dunker. I know he won some high school dunk contests at Gate City or wherever he went. But I didn't anticipate him being in the dunk contest because he was in the G League, and I guess the Sixers just recently signed him. I had no idea that he was in the dunk contest. And all of a sudden I see him. I'm like, oh man, this guy's going to win. And then he got literally every dunk he had. I think there was 4 dunks.
Yeah,
Perfect
everyone
score.
was off the chain.
Perfect score. Pretty much every dunk. It wasn't even close. I mean, Trey Murphy was in the finals with him, but like it wasn't a competition. I felt bad for Trey Murphy because Trey Murphy was actually his dunks are really good. But Mac McClung stole the show. The one dunk he had with the hesitation, the first dunk was ridiculous, where he literally bounced the ball 2 hands off the backboard before he dunked it while he was in midair. And then the other one where he hesitated with the ball, he did a double clutch pump fake, with a reverse slam. Like that one was insane. They call that a hezi, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I hope this guy gets. I hope because he started out. He was in the Lakers for a little bit. He's been on some NBA teams, but he's always been on 2-way contracts where you're in the half in the G League, half in the pros. They don't have to commit to you. They don't pay you nearly as much. But he won like $100,000 for the dunk contest. So I'm glad he was able to make some like real significant money. Now everyone, casual basketball fans who didn't know about him, now they know who he is. And he's not just a dunker. He's actually a pretty good basketball player too. He's a good shooter. He's pretty clutch. I saw him make like a couple game-winning shots in college. He always scared me when Villanova played Georgetown. I'm like, man, we got to watch this guy because it was like, what is he going to do this? He's very dangerous. Like he's got the ability to light up a scoreboard quickly. He's only 6'2".
Yeah.
He's only 6'2", so that kind of holds him back, the height. But he's got a lot of moxie, and these dunks were impressive. And because the dunk contest has gotten really stale. A lot of people didn't really watch the dunk contest in the past couple of years. Like, this is boring. None of the superstars want to participate.
Oh,
John Morant doesn't
last year. Yeah.
John Morant doesn't want to participate. Zion doesn't want to participate. LeBron's never been in the dunk contest. So an unsung guy like Mac McClung comes in out of nowhere and wins it, and it really set the roof on fire. I was just so impressed, man.
Well, I don't know that any of the cats that we just named beat this kid doing that. I mean, I'm not saying he's
I
about.
know, I know what you're saying. That's part of the reason why they don't enter, because they're embarrassed to lose to a lesser, like a guy like this. They're like, we lost to that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think my favorite, well, they were just all vicious. But I think my favorite one, I was trying to think that which was my favorite one. My favorite one was when he came from like the right side. Right, he came from the right side, and he was not 2 buddies, but just the one guy standing there with the ball. And he come up over his back, took the ball, and then reversed 2-handed jam. I thought it was
That
smoking.
was the one. That one, if you actually notice closely, I think that's the hezi one. I think he did like he grabbed the ball, but then he pump faked while he was in midair twice. Like while he was hanging in midair, he like pump faked with the ball and did a reverse jam. Like that was insane, dude.
Yeah, he did another one coming from that right side too, but there was no one there. It was just all him. Where I think
his final dunk was like a 720. Oh, it was kind of like a 540, but it was basically a 720.
Yeah.
But the amount of times he spun in midair for like this little white guy, that's another thing. People try to make a big deal because he was white. Like, oh, white guy won. They're making jokes like a white guy just won in Black History Month. How dare he? They're making sarcastic jokes.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's like, come on, this is basketball.
Yeah,
to really make it about race. Come on.
Right. Well, that's all tongue in cheek, but I hope the Sixers maybe can do something with him. I hope we need some help. We need some help. So
you guys are very lucky that you happen to just pretty much assign him to a short-term type of 2-way deal, but like he could actually be kind of a spark plug because now he's got some momentum. He's got some confidence. He even said he's kind of cocky when he's interviewed. He's like, yeah, like, I always believed this would happen, but he didn't say like I shocked myself. I can't believe that. He knew that he was the best dunker in the world, and he's right. I mean, what a display by this guy. And he didn't just win the dunk contest. A lot of times guys win the dunk contest, but they miss at least one dunk that because they have like basically a minute 20 or whatever it is to get the dunk completed. He didn't miss one dunk. They're all perfect.
Yeah, I know. And he's got the other one where he went over the 2 dudes and he's with 2 hands on the ball, kisses it off the glass,
yep.
And then bang. Oh, they were all, I mean, every one of them was tremendous. I was trying to just pick which one I really like, but I think where his buddy's standing there, is one guy standing there with the ball on his head. And he comes up and just jumps over him, takes the ball off his buddy's head, and still does a 2-handed reverse. I thought it was all good, but that was probably my favorite. But yeah, I hope the Sixers can do something with him, as like I said though, because we got Boston and Milwaukee there, and if nothing changes for us, it's going to be Boston Milwaukee again in the conference finals. So, but maybe, just maybe. if we make a trade or if this kid plays well, we'll see. But
don't expect, like, honestly, don't expect him to, like, be that much a contributor. But the fact that, like, they're lucky that he happens to be on their team when he won the dunk contest. Now everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's the hottest thing in basketball right now. We got to capitalize off this. And the Sixers happen to have him. So it's just a good thing that he's on the roster.
yeah,
And he was wearing the Sixers jersey for most of the night, except for the last dunk.
yeah,
But he kind of reminds me, like, because the Sixers have another guy on the team who's kind of like a spark plug player. This guy, Shake Milton, but Shake Milton's 6'5".
right.
Because, like, I'm like, he could compete with Shake Milton for minutes. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, he could, he could be. I see like a John Stockton type. I mean, I don't know.
John, come on, John Stockton. That's a little bit
Type. Well, type. He's a guard, right? He's a
Yeah.
6'2". He's not going to play power forward or center.
Stockton was a pass first guard. This guy's more of a scorer.
Yeah, but I was just wondering if they could, let him play guard, see what happens for a while. I don't know how much the jumping. He's got hops, right? But I don't know how much that's going to help him from the guard position. I don't know, but I don't know. It's Spud Webb. It helps Spud Webb. Spud Webb stayed in the league for close to a decade, I think, if not more. But so we'll see.
Yep. So shout out to Mac McClung. What a victory. Next episode, we're going to do more sports. So I apologize if sports is a little bit short tonight, but I mean, NFL season's over. We're kind of recovering.
Is this Sports Center? I'm sorry.
We're going through withdrawal. We're not having NFL. Basketball, not till Thursday. So, a little late on the sports tonight, but
pitchers and catchers are there, and we'll see. Yeah.
The floor is yours for last word, sir.
No shirt, no shoes, no dice. Good night.
Take care.